Hello.
Hello, everybody. All right, we're actually here. Everything's working.
We're live. We're good.
All right, perfect. Because I'll be honest, I cannot see while wearing this, so I'm gonna have to take your word on it. In any case, hello, everybody. This is LD&D. This is Lazy D&D's in December. This is a really cool thing going on. And tonight we're playing the last Masquerade. So, I suppose before we get into the nitty gritty of everything, let's just remind everybody who we are and what's going on. So, this is in December. It's a whole month of awesome indie game content. It's very cool, very fun. People who are doing it are awesome. My name is Shoko. I'm one of the people over at Witchingcraft Games. I made this game, and I'll be running it for tonight for everybody. If you're familiar with us, it's probably because Amelia did her incredible multi-session game of 12 Inner Demons, or Occulti actually, the past few weeks. And it was awesome, and it was way better than what I'm going to do tonight. But we're going to have fun, so it doesn't matter. How about everybody introduce yourselves?
I will go first because I'm next in the little squares.
Good.
My name is Kylie Eberhard. You may also know me as Viking Mermaid. I will be playing the Duchess Vera Chittenden.
Ooh. All right.
Go ahead, Mallory.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll go next. Hi, my name is Mallory Mize. You all probably know me as Moxie Blue everywhere across the internet. And tonight I play Lady Celestina Changeland.
Excellent.
I'm Kristen. You would have caught me in Amelia's game of 12 Occult Eye as Nova the Chaos Demon. You can find me as Darth Surrealish on Twitter, and that's where you can find my crazy schedule of where I'm going to be live at. And I'm playing Countess Barata.
Oh, I'm the worst. I always forget to mention. Mallory and I are also the co-founders of Homebrews and Homebodies, so that is probably where you will see us the most.
Understandable. So, before we actually get started, I'm going to take off this mask so I can see.
Helpful.
Because having the GM be able to see the map and the rules is probably important, as you would assume.
I don't know. We can just make it up as we go.
Yeah. I mean,
is
as
that
the
not
GM,
basically...
I guess you just get to do what you want.
That was my plan in the first place.
Is that not basically what being a GM is anyway? So, suffice it to say, this is the last Masquerade. Let me set the scene for everybody. Explain what exactly we're doing here, who exactly you are, and what's going on. It is a fine night at the luxurious Orlescu Manor, where a lavish party is underway. The countryside surrounding is racked in danger and dread, but in here, there is only revelry, joy, and murder. Tonight is a masquerade, a true and proper masked ball where socialites and servants mix and mingle under false faces. The party's gone on for a while, you're arriving fashionably late as usual. And it's gone on quite that the visions of luxury and excess present in the Count's sprawling and surreally eccentric home are tantalizing, inviting. However, as the clock strikes midnight, a strange, ominous feeling sweeps over you. Then you find the first body. Something else is in the mansion with you tonight. Something monstrous. In this game, you three are each playing one of the guests at this masquerade. You have your mask protecting your identity. You have a series of 3 agendas that each of you made and then were randomly distributed among each other. Your goal is to make these agendas, defeat whatever monster or monsters are hiding within the crowd, and make it out of this alive. It is important to note, you can win this game while still dying. Cool. If you complete all your agendas and no one else does, and you still eat it, well, you still won. You did what you were here to do.
Okay.
Important to note, the first thing we're going to be doing in this game is that this is a game designed for one-shots. This is a game designed for short little gameplay times where you're just coming around having fun. You got no time to prep a game. You just sit down and pull out a little PDF and start playing. And so, the first thing we're doing here is making the map. You're currently in the foyer. Foyer. One of those things. This is you've entered in through the large double doors, made of hand-carved oak, into a stately entrance room. You can see you can see some of the guests who are just as fashionably late arriving to you at the ball as you are entering in after you, or entering in having just come ahead of you. There are 3 doors, one on each side. It is currently midnight. This is important. Each turn is about 15 minutes, and you have about 6 hours in total. However, sometimes things go a little bit faster. You'll see. Suffice it to say, we'll start with Duchess Vera. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? You've just entered the party.
Okay.
And would you like to describe your character, their mask,
Sure.
their elaborate and ridiculous outfit to this,
Of
the
course.
illustrious manner of Count Orlescu?
So Duchess Vera enters in this intricately beaded and embroidered gold gown that has a slight flowing train behind it. She has the mask of a Valkyrie. All of her accessories are gold. She's just decked head to toe in gold. And as she comes in, I'm assuming she passes off her cloak to the doorman and sweeps her way into the door that's directly in front of her.
All right. So, let's make a room. Would you roll me 3d6?
You total, or just you want 3? What
Just
3 they are?
3d6 in total. It's importantly, if there's doubles and triples, they matter.
It's a total of 8. I got a 5, a 2, and a 1.
All right. So the room directly in front of the foyer is a long rectangular dining hall. It is filled with a succulent and exotic feast. There's chandeliers hanging from the ceilings made of crystal, refracting the light over steaming plates of food and fine drink. Candelabras sit on the table, knives and forks gleam, and there's a great roast at the center of the table that looks almost alive. There are 2 doors, one in the front, and then another pair of doors in the back. So, having entered, and I'm just setting up the map here. Having entered, you find this place, well, quite entrancing, quite fun. Yes, you're here. What do you wish to do in here now that you've entered? You can see people are mingling around, people are starting to eat. It's still relatively early.
Sure. She will definitely grab a champagne flute, because I'm sure it's overflowing for the night, and kind of take a scope of the room, see if anyone catches her eye of interest, or if anyone kind of stands out to her to start a conversation with.
All right. Could I have a roots roll from you? So this game has 3 different stats: thorns, roots, and petals. Thorns are your physical aptitude, general health, muscles, Roots are your intellectual aptitude, your mental health. And petals are your social aptitude and reputation. When I ask for a roll with it, just roll that many dice.
Okay, I got 2 5s and a 2, so 12.
All right. So, let me grab exactly how this looks here. 2 5s and a 2. All right. Looking around the room, you see that most of it is pretty, most of these people are not what you would call standout. There's some who are impressive, but not in any way that particularly catches your discerning eye. You've seen rich people at a fancy ball many a time. You're fancy. They are the commonplace kind of fancy. However, there are 2 people who immediately catch your eye. One is the tall figure dressed in a white suit with a sharp white mask, who seems to be just standing in the corner, not actually partaking in the feast, but watching. The other is that the somewhat large-bodied figure. I would say, like, not just in the sense of just, like, they are sitting at the table eating what appears to be an entire leg of a chicken, but also the fact that they are just very big. It's the the phrase "built like a refrigerator."
Sure.
It's a little bit like that. They're just
Okay.
they are large. Their mask is that of a boar, and they are sitting laughing uproariously as they chat with the rabble, shall we say.
Okay.
I would say that would be your two
Sure.
actions, but any
Okay.
any talking you want to do, feel free. Any actual approach.
I take notice of the man in white. And am I allowed to make my way over to
Absolutely.
start a conversation with him?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you make your way over. He appears not to even particularly notice that you're approaching until you're already there.
I just arrived. Has anything interesting happened yet?
He turns to you, and though you cannot see it behind the mask, you can feel the single eyebrow being raised. Interesting is a descriptor that I wouldn't use for much of this.
Well.
That said, and as he says that, we'll move on to our next character.
Okay.
All right, now for Lady Celestine.
So Celestina comes in and she has on a very ornate black and gold mask. And her dress is a corseted bodice with tulle sleeves off of the shoulder, and the entire bottom of the dress is tulle and flows out from her. And there are small bits of thread that look like constellations. So it just looks like constellations and stars make up the entire bottom of the dress. And as she comes in, I think I am going to take the door to the right.
All right, roll me 3d6.
I got 2 2s and a 4, so that's an 8.
All right, 2 2s is actually very important here.
Oh.
So, another 8 does in fact give you another dining hall.
Oh,
This
fantastic.
is the Count Orlescu's manor. It's always dining halls. It's always dinner time.
It's
Lovely.
nothing but dining hall.
You say that the last time we played this game, we literally got that. Like, there were 5 of them.
I would love that if all 3 of these doors just led to different dining halls.
But all
We
I
shall
want
see.
is dining hall.
It is only to eat in. That's it.
However, there is something else of note in here.
Okay.
As this is not just a dining hall, it is also filled with trophies of the great Orlescu family's conquests. There are antlered heads and great swords hanging upon the walls, and shining medals, all hanging around, the chandeliers and dinner. Because, of course, there is. What better place to show off your probably stolen at some point finery than to show it off while you're having dinner with guests? You can rub it in their face. You have the option of carrying around one of these weapons. If you do, it will give you an extra die on your thorns pool, but one less die on your petals pool, because you will be
fine.
carrying around a sword,
That's all
or
right.
an axe, or possibly a boar head. That's just how it goes.
I'm a lady in a dress that looks like the night sky, and I get to carry around a sword. This is the best night of my life. I don't truly care what other people think of me at this point.
It might be impressive. You
yeah,
never know.
So I will happily carry around a sword.
All right, make sure to amend your stats.
Yes. Okay, so I get another to my thorns and -1 to my petals, right?
Yes,
Will do.
and just as before, there is a singular door at the other end.
Okay.
All right, and you have one more action.
Actually, can I just go ahead and go through the door at the end?
Absolutely.
Sweet.
Roll me another 3d6.
Let's walk in, grab a sword.
Walks out. 4, 5, 6, so 15.
15. Now we're getting to the interesting things.
Unfortunately, I did not build another dining hall. I'm very sorry to disappoint everyone.
Jenna, I do too. I want these dresses in real life too.
You enter a massive, lavish greenhouse, filled with all manner of exotic and beautiful plants. Rose bushes as tall as people wind up and down the walls. Great ivy vines thread between the imported trees with odd-colored leaves, and the moon shines beautifully through the gilded glass of the roof. There are 2 exits, one along the left wall and one along the south wall. And let me actually just put those in. But yes, this is a beautiful greenhouse.
Is it like a conservatory type greenhouse?
Yes.
Okay. Not that I know, obviously. I haven't been over there, but I do love a good conservatory.
All right. Entering the green. So yes, you've entered this greenhouse. It is
Very
quite
cool.
beautiful. But as you enter, you also hear the sound of something moving among the leaves. However, now we move to the Countess Burrata. Big shades of,
Countess Barada.
I would say, big shades of one of the perennial favorites of previous games of this we've run, the Sir Beef Wellington.
I do love me my toys. So, Countess Barada, she's dressed in a slinky black strapless dress. It's slit on both sides up to the thigh, and it's covered in thousands of tiny diamonds that just shimmer every time she walks. Her shoes are floppy black sandals, but the heels are pure silver stakes. There's a necklace that's draped. It goes over her chest, her shoulders, and her back that is also hundreds of tiny diamonds. And then she has on a silver filigree blind mask, so it completely covers her eyes with just enough space to see clearly, almost clearly through. And then it leads up to horns that curl around the back of her head.
I want that outfit too.
Yeah, I was about to say, I want that.
Same.
And who's gonna take the final door?
You break off for the evening and enter.
Please roll an 8.
I have a 5, a 6, and a
Alright.
2.
13
13.
gives
I
you
think I can,
a very fun one indeed. You enter the library.
Ooh.
The library and study room is a 2-floor ordeal. One bottom floor with a black marble pattern inlaid with arcane symbols and gold. Dusty tomes festooned with strange occult writing and artifacts in small bell jars line the room. There are 2 doors here, one where you just came in, and one down to the west. This room is obviously very fancy. Obviously also probably filled with something cursed, but that's just how it goes around here. This is Count Orlescu's manor. No one knows what happens in Count Orlescu's manor, not even Count Orlescu. So,
is there anybody else in the library, or is it just me?
as you enter in, at first thought, you would think that no one else is there with you. But then you hear but in the silence of the library, you hear the faint turning of pages. Looking up on the upper floor, you can see a woman in a dress that is, you would call it violet, but not in the same way, not the violet of a flower. More the violet of, it was almost like a bruised fruit. An odd, vaguely off-putting color, but quite nice looking, actually. Despite that, she is on the second floor, currently sitting back on a chair, facing over on the upper balcony, reading a thick, heavy tome. As you enter and look up to her, she turns to you, seeing that her mask is some sort of, almost looks like a flower itself, but curled up, perhaps like a poppy bloom.
Good evening. May I inquire upon what you were reading?
You may inquire, yes. Well, could I have a petals roll from you?
That is a 2 and a 5 for 7.
That is 1 success. As a note, this works on a success system. It's 5s and 6s are successes. Everything else is failure.
Okay.
Yep. You may. I am reading a treatise on the occult rituals of Gazapan the Wizened. He shows the book's cover, which is you've seen how in like Old English everything is written with like F's. S's are F's.
Yeah.
Right? Like that kind of thing.
Yes.
Imagine that, but like with every single letter. It is barely comprehensible on the cover and was clearly penned by someone who had a very shaky hand and probably was very, very intoxicated while doing it. Fascinating stuff.
Oh, those
Fascinating
occult
stuff, really.
rituals.
Well, I shall leave you to it, and then I will turn to the nearest bookshelf and look for the most arcane book I can find.
All right, we'll do that as your next round. Meanwhile, it is now 12:15, which I will actually put a clock on here because it is a good thing for you to know.
Occult rituals. I mean, yeah.
All right, back more. Welcome back to Duchess Vera. You are talking with the man in white. He had said previously that there was very little to be excited about, very little interesting, save for one thing. No one has seen the Count yet. Usually he's here earlier in the parties, at least to give a general introduction, and yet here he's nowhere to be found. Interesting, no?
That is quite interesting. And no one's heard anything.
Not in the least. Even the servants don't know where he's gone. The last someone says, they heard that he was going to look into something in a private room, but in this manner, what room that could be, well, we have no idea.
Care to venture and see if we can find him ourselves?
You can feel the eyebrow raise again, but this time appraisingly. I think I will, yes. Better than watching these lot.
Yes, they are quite vulgar.
All right, you've acquired a dining companion.
Yes.
Where are you headed?
Let's head for the door at the end of the dining room.
All right, roll me another 3d6.
I got a 6, a 5, and a 3.
6, 5, and 3.
So 14?
14. Oh, this is a fun one.
Oh, goodness.
Oh.
You enter the gallery.
Ooh.
Schmancy.
It is here that the Duke's grand selection of art and artistry is found. Full of paintings and sculpture, priceless works, things that should be in a museum. In all honesty, really should be in a museum. But they're
100% be in a museum.
Yeah, no, these are important artifacts of culture. Instead, they're in some dude's house. But that's how it is here. However, there's something else. Figure out the proper size of this thing. First, you roll 20. There we go. Still, some of these paintings and sculptures are strange and ominous. Just shy of some kind of uncanny, dreadful visage. You'd swear some of them would turn to look at you when they just exit your vision. There are 2 exits here. One that you just went in, and one heading further back. However, could I have a roots roll from you?
And you're just looking for successes and failures, right?
Yep.
1 success, 2 failures.
All right. one of the pieces does catch your eye, however. It's something that you haven't seen before. In fact, it's odd looking. It doesn't look like it belongs in the gallery. It is a sculptured bust. Something more like the classic Venus de Milo. Something that is, a classical bust. Yeah. So something here that is a classical bust. It is broken into pieces, somewhat. Sorry, 1 second. So it is a classical bust, something that is broken into pieces. It's missing the arms, missing the legs. It's the Venus de Milo, but it looks to be made of cracked black stone, almost ashy looking. It's disconcerting, in fact. Quite odd. You get a weird feel just looking at it.
Okay. I'm not gonna touch it. My brain was like, go touch it, but then I was like, don't touch it. Don't touch it. I didn't quite catch your name.
I looked at you. Odd. I thought you would have known. I am Leopold Deolescu, the Duke's son.
Oh. I didn't recognize you for your mask. I am so sorry. Henry has joined us for the party. This statue, is it new? I've never seen anything like it.
I believe it is, actually, yes. A recent acquisition of my father's. How odd. I hadn't thought... It must be new, but I hadn't seen anyone put it in. There'd been no installation, no. I would have sworn there was another statue here before. Curious. And curiouser. And it looks like we have to take a quick break because we're having some tech issues. So
Okay.
let's do that right now as this whole thing ends.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry about that, everybody. Tech issues abound.
Be right back.
See you right back. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I see movement. I think we're good.
Yeah, I don't think we're lagging. Maybe?
Yay!
Oh.
No.
Nope. Oh, froze again.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh wait, we got some movement. I don't know if it's gonna stay.
It's
though.
okay. Just
We'll do what we
listen to us paint the story with our voice.
It's a podcast.
We shall describe the words.
Yeah, just pretend you're listening to
We're
an
definitely
audio.
better than we
book.
were.
It's like every time this happens, like this is why back when we set up streams on the regular, we just used art and then had it light up when we talked. So it didn't matter if anyone was lagging; you couldn't tell.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah, when we first started streaming on H&H, we were trying to stream off of my laptop because I volunteered to run it for some reason, and I do not. I just have a normal laptop, and my computer was just like, nope, and we would all freeze. And then I would finally just like, I'm just gonna put the map on the screen because they can hear our voices, so we're just gonna put the map up.
I mean, if it works. All right.
Yeah.
Are we somewhere close to visibility right now?
Yes.
All right, then let's go with it. Let's keep rolling.
Okay.
So yes, we left with the curious and curiouser case of the strange and mysterious statue. In the meanwhile, however, Lady Celestine,
Okay. Oh, I was in the greenhouse.
you were in the greenhouse. You heard the sounds of something moving in there.
Yeah, I'd like to investigate that. I'm just gonna like have the sword not at the ready, just in case it's a person.
Just stick it real hard.
But just I'll be prepared to swing the sword should I
All
need
right.
to.
You sneak closer, looking and looking. Closer and closer to this rustling in the bushes just behind the roses. And then in a moment of shock, a small animal scurries out into the greenhouse. A squirrel stowed away in from outside. However, as you've approached, you've also noticed something else. There's a foul stench that was being masked by the flowers. And as you get closer, you can see that what the squirrel was, well, occupied by is something a bit more substantial. There is a body in the greenhouse, tucked underneath the rose beds.
I figured that's where we are going with this.
You would see that the body is of a man, perhaps in the older ends of middle age. A thick beard hidden by the broken pieces of what appears to be an owl mask that he was wearing. Most notable, however, is the method of his death. He is missing his heart. Not in the sense that it has been, surgically removed, and more in the sense that something has physically punched a hole directly through his ribcage and sternum and removed it.
Nice.
Cool.
Just Indiana Jones did.
Kalima.
Can I check the body to see if there's like a form of identification on
Could I get
him?
a roots roll from you?
You sure can. I need to see what my roots thing is. So I roll the number of dice that I have in
Yes,
roots.
you do.
That's no successes.
So, looking through, you can't find anything that immediately stands out as a piece of identification. You find what looks to be some kind of heirloom watch, but because you don't actually know the nature of the heirloom or what the crest on it actually is, you can't really tell whose it's supposed to be.
Okay.
However, you do have this heirloom watch. You can find someone who might know. They might be able to tell you. Additionally, you find that on his person is what appears to be a small playbill folio for a show that he went to last week, and a small scrap of paper holding on it a simple handwritten note scrawled in an uneasy hand. The note says this: "Deep, deep below, under the silver light."
Okay. I will go through the door to the south to try to find somebody that can help me with the watch.
All right. Could I have another 3d6?
Sure you can.
You just came in and started taking stuff.
I mean, like, it's not like I'm stealing for personal gain. I would like to identify this poor man.
You know you're not a rogue this time, right?
I only play rogues. I'm all rogues all the time. Believe it or not, I got another 8 with 2 2s.
You have found the illustrious second ballroom dining hall filled with knives.
Fantastic.
Do you wish to acquire a second knife?
If I take a second knife, does it just happen again? Do I add another to Thorn?
Yes.
I think I'm good with the one knife. Okay, so here's the thing. I really want another knife. Don't get me wrong. But also, I'm afraid that if I go too low in petals, I'm screwed later. So,
min-maxing is a thing in this game. All it has to do is, all that means is don't get caught in a social fight.
well, clearly the only person I've ran into so far was dead. So I feel like I'm not going to. But just in case, I will keep it to one sword, please.
Oh, this is great.
Understandable. Fair enough.
You found all the weapons, and I found a statue that could possibly kill me.
We're doing great.
All right. So, you have in fact found a
Third dining room.
third dining room. This
Oh,
dining room
Dad.
is... Why can I not move that?
I don't know. I noticed that my little click thing was not moving.
Roll 20s. Well, roll 20 just broke for me. Give me a second.
Yay,
Sorry.
roll 20.
This program will be the death of me.
Roll 20, fix your shit, man.
Okay, now it's working fine.
There we go. That's my 2 actions, correct?
That is, in fact, your 2 actions.
I will wait until next turn then to see if I can identify who this poor man is laying in a bed of shrubbery.
I have an idea of who he is, but...
Oh, I have an idea too, but I guess I'm gonna have to figure it out next time.
However, we will now go to the Duchess Farah, to the Countess Barata.
Yes. I am reaching for whatever most arcane book I see.
Could I get a roots roll from you?
5, 5, 6.
5, 5, 6. 3 successes. Looking through, you find that there are quite a few books of the arcane, occult, and otherwise spooky persuasion here. One, however, catches your eye. You thumb past the dollar store Necronomicons, your usual book of Ivon and Untersprechen Kulten. You know, that's the easy stuff. You want something new, something fresh.
We've read all of those.
The book you eventually find has no name. There is no name on the cover, no title inside of it. It is deceptively simple in its ornamentation. It is a black book with little slight silver metal bits holding together the binding. What catches your eye, however, is the fact that it is not bound in cloth like a normal book. It appears to be bound in stone, written in a smooth black marble. The pages within, a dyed thick vellum. Are they human vellum? You're not sure, but it could be.
I found a people book.
Marble and people.
Opening the book, you will find that what's inside is an interesting title. The book states, "A journal of monstrosity penned by the hand of the great lord Osinius Orlescu, circa," and it writes a date that is because time is immaterial here, and you could be in the future, you could be in the past. It doesn't.
Time
You're in a
doesn't
Masquerade
exist.
ball. You're in Masquerade ball time. There is only Masquerade ball now, but it is written some 300 years in the past. The opening the opening page notes a book dedicating my forays into the monstrous and the mundane, as written in my time and as written upon upon my nature as head of the Olescu and ruler of the line of Olescu. May those who read this book take from its knowledge and understand that which they fight, that which they fear, and that upon which they feast. It's very magic.
Okay then.
And also mundane.
All right, what do you want to do? You have one action left.
I think I'm gonna take that second door out of the room and see what's next.
All right, give me a 3d6.
3, 3, 5.
3, 3, 5. So that's an 11 with 2 3s. Okay, now we're getting to the fun. You enter the ballroom.
Yes,
Ooh.
I knew there had to be one somewhere.
I mean, it's possible that one doesn't happen, but that's relative.
We're at a masquerade ball with no ballroom, just dining rooms.
It's more like a masquerade dinner, really.
It's a masquerade banquet.
A masquerade luncheon. This is a stately ballroom, massive and open, with columns holding up a domed ceiling. People mill about, while servants bring drinks and hors d'oeuvres to them. A band plays in one corner, a lively miniature orchestra filling the room with beautiful ambiance. There are 4 exits here, one on each wall. Important to note as well that upon entering, you have you would call it the preternatural knowledge, but just simply a hunch. Something in this room is important. Something in this room is very important to your survival, your health, shall we say. Something about what dangers may occur and what their particular weaknesses are. But that will have to come next time, because you've used up your actions for the turn. You return to the Duchess Vera.
Okay, well, I do love this art, and it is quite intriguing. Shall we continue?
Let us move forward.
So I'm going to go.
And you see him him looking back at the statue, just going like, "What the?"
So we're gonna continue through the door.
All
Let's see
right.
if I can get us another dining room.
Come on, dining room.
All the dining rooms.
Okay, so you are never gonna believe me.
All right, what'd you get?
I just rolled a 4 and 2 2s.
You want a sword that comes out of a dining room? Because you can have it.
The illustrious Duke Orlescu is a fan of 2 things: food and stabbing.
Sounds like my kind of guy.
I'm so sorry, guys.
Do not apologize for a 4th dining room, a third of which is filled with swords. Don't say sorry to me for that.
I came here to stab things and eat.
Yeah.
And I still have more of both.
This dining hall, as you could assume, there are only so many places that people will eat in a place such as the Duke Orlescu's. There's only so many people here at this masquerade ball. This one is relatively empty. It's currently being used by the servants as a general, we can call it like a storage place, a place for them to store food while they're trekking out the rest of the mansion. You can see little plates of hors d'oeuvres being stacked on some of the tables that the kitchen staff are picking up and moving along. Places where they're filling the wine glasses or piling up the old dishes to take to the kitchens. If you can ever find the kitchens, mind you.
If we do, they will be nowhere near here.
Upon entering, the man in white looks, the help. Seems they've commandeered this one.
This one, how many are there?
If I'll be honest, I have no idea. My father is one who tends to build first and ask questions later.
Is he fond of dining rooms?
There was a period in his life where the great Duke Orlescu decided that he would have a different dining room for every meal. And when I say a different one for every meal, I don't mean that he would cycle between them as a sane, fabulously rich person would do. I meant he would have one constructed and would not eat until it was done.
Oh, well. He either must have hired the right help to get it done very quickly, or he was very hungry most of the time.
A little bit of both, unfortunately. It stopped when someone pointed out the fact that he could simply eat all of them in the same day. And then it turned into a tour.
Oh, yes. Sometimes logic must be brought into the situation for things to see themselves right.
I blame Tolkien. Him hearing about the second breakfast never had him the same.
I understand. There are so many times you should eat in a day. Is this one again? Does this one have the trophies on the walls?
Yes, it does. This is more and more trophies. It's filled with. There are swords. There are what look like some of the heads in this room have stopped being like an elk head, rhinoceros head. Start getting a little weirder. You're not sure what kind of animal that looks like. That might be a unicorn, or it might be just some really weird horse, and you're really not sure. Like this is the these are some of the things in here that you're looking at going, I don't recognize that thing, and I don't know if that's just because I've never seen that animal or because that animal isn't real. Is that a jackalope? Is that jackalope real, or did someone sell him a taxidermy jackalope head?
God, I hope it's a jackalope. Well, these are interesting trophies to show on a wall.
Yes, these are some of the odder ones in his collection. I would hasten to say that they are fake, but to be quite honest, I don't know where he's gotten most of them. We tried banning him purchasing from the more disreputable taxidermists some time ago, but clearly it hasn't stopped him.
Well, people and their hobbies.
Hobbies, yes.
I am going to look at all the weaponry. I don't think I'm going to take any.
Understandable. It is important to note that just remember that it is here.
Yes, it is there. And I'm going to look at him and say, are you going to continue on with me?
I still think I shall. This room isn't particularly interesting as of yet. There's much I need to do.
And so we will then make our way through the next door.
All right. Roll me 3d6.
I swear to God. I swear to God.
It's another dining room. There are more swords.
No more dining rooms. No more dining rooms. No more dining rooms. Oh, okay, good. All right. 9.
All right.
One off of a dining room.
Almost a dining room.
No doubles or triples?
No, just a 4, a 3, and a 2.
All right. Well, you found the reason why this dining hall was being used to carry all of the.
We did
In
find
the
the
kitchen? There is a kitchen.
You enter a bustling and expansive kitchen. Gleaming knives hanging from the racks and ovens flaring with fire. Chefs bustle to and fro to prepare for the banquet and create hors d'oeuvres and drinks and, well, food for the event. The room smells, however, almost uncomfortably like cooking pork, and you'd swear you saw a hand in the oven window for just a moment.
Is it long pork?
That's what it sounds like. Did you see that?
See what?
I thought I saw a hand in the oven window.
Hand? I mean, I don't think we've gotten to the course of monkey yet, but it could be possible.
Well,
You've seen Temple of Doom, right?
yes. Yes. That is actually my favorite Indiana Jones movie, and everyone gives me crap for it, but I don't care. It is my favorite. Well, that must have just been a trick of the light.
Indeed. It is now we continue on with the travels of Lady Celestine. Entering the other dining hall.
Is there anyone in this dining hall?
So this dining hall is much more sparsely populated than the others. It's a little more, it's a little out of the way. But that said, there are people in here. Mainly, this seems to be the place where some of the people who are wanting a bit quieter of a party have settled down. There are some you can see like some little dining tables filled with some people who are just casually chatting. There's a couple that are very clearly like besotted paramours sitting down for a nice little date over on a side table. And for the most part, most of this room looks pretty regular. Save for one person who is clearly presiding over the dining room. The figure is, well, a very old man. Very, very old. In fact, he looks probably pushing 100 and is tiny in so much as that he is so wizened with age that he looks more akin to a stick bug than a person. This is not helped by the fact that his mask is a wooden flat thing, making him resemble much more of a stick, especially given his relatively tweed outfit for the evening.
Oh,
He sits on a central seat at the head of the table, pushed away from the table itself so that he may lean on his cane as if some conquering king of old. It's very much that, like, if you know the shot of Conan the Barbarian on the throne?
Yes.
It looks like that, but he's like a geriatric man who is
A geriatric English librarian man.
Fantastic.
also notable is his fantastic mustache.
Oh,
We are talking
lovely.
just
beautiful.
Oh, I love a good mustache.
We could not ask for anything more.
Marry him immediately.
I'm going to approach the old man and go, hello, sir. If you would not mind to help me, I found this watch on the floor of the greenhouse, and I was wondering if you may know the crest that is on it, so that I may return it to its owner.
Could I have a petals from you? A petals roll. Unfortunate because you lowered your petal score.
Yeah. Okay, that's a 4 and a 5, so 1 success.
I can. Let me take a look here. He takes a look at the watch, flips it around a little bit, flicks it open. Well, it seems you found something of the Margrave family. Odd of them to lose something like this, but they're, up-and-comers, shall we say. I think I saw that young boy, Jeremiah Margrave, around here somewhere, but... that might have been early in the night. Well, if you see him around, he's a young man, full beard. I think he was just an owl. Something like that.
Did anyone else come with him from his family?
I believe I saw his sister here earlier. She was... She might be in the ballroom, I would think. She did always like dancing, that girl. Look for, she's dressed like a swan. Or something approximating it. I can't tell with these children in their costumes anymore.
Thank you so much for your help.
Of course. He like looks at you, and he looks at you, and you just see this moment of just... a moment of appraisal from someone who is very clearly appraising literally everyone in the room. It's like, you're okay.
I'll take it.
You might ask him to point you in the direction of the ballroom, since there are so many dining rooms.
There are so many dining rooms. Would you mind to tell me where the ballroom is?
Ah, yes, other wing of the building. However, if you do need to get there quick, there is a faster way.
Yes, as quickly as possible would be lovely.
All right, then help me up first, moment. And he stands up. And you can just hear you can hear the sounds of his spine popping as he pushes up on his cane, just like
creaks.
Yep.
Bless his heart.
He like freaks up. He hobbles over to one of the walls of the dining room, in which a large vertical tapestry hangs. He pushes it open to the side, and then with his cane knocks on the wall in 3 places. As he does, a door swings open.
And I get secret passageways. This is the coolest pretend night of my life. Yeah, I'm gonna take the secret passage. Heck yes.
This secret passage goes from the dining room, this particular dining room, to the ballroom, jumping across the manor.
Absolutely.
So much faster.
Yeah, I'm gonna to take that for sure.
All right. That would be your 2 actions.
Absolutely.
And then we have the Countess, who has just seen someone walk out of what appears to be a small tunnel hidden into one of the pillars in the room.
She'll just give a slight nod, grab a flute of champagne and take a drink, and then she wants to look for who looks like the most important person in the room.
Most important person in the room. Could I have a petals roll from you?
A 1 and a 2.
It was actually the old man in the dining room.
You look around, But unfortunately for you, something has come up that makes it difficult to tell who is important. The dancing has begun.
Yes.
People begin to twirl through the room.
Dancing.
People begin to twirl through the room. They're linking arms and spinning as dresses flare outward. It's beautiful. It's spectacular. You cannot tell who anyone in this room is while they're all moving like this. Everything is chaos. You have to kind of push yourself back against the wall so you don't get accidentally hit by someone's shoes while they're doing a particularly impressive ballroom twirl. But yes, unfortunately, you are unable to tell who exactly is the most important here. At the very least, though, you can tell that of the people in this room, there's quite a few people. If there's someone important here, there's probably quite a few people important here, in all honesty.
All right, she's just going to lean against the closest pillar and continue to drink her champagne until the spinning stops.
Could I have let's call it a roots test from you, a roots roll?
Yeah. 5, 4, 5. 2 successes.
2 successes. Upon looking through the room, however, something catches your eye. In the center of the crowd, a tall figure, dressed in white with a sharp white mask, is standing perfectly still, as if no one knows that he's there. How odd. It would be at this point that the clock hits 1 in the morning. Dong, dong, dong. In previous games of this, we've had like a little sound cue set up. So I had like I had a bell tower noise every time we hit the hour mark, and it was fun. But that figure, standing perfectly still in the center, turns, looking out to one of the side rooms, and then leaves, walking straight through the crowd, and yet they seem to part around him as if he wasn't there. No one seems to have noticed him leave. No one at all, except for you. In fact, the other player in the room did not see him at all. And were the third player here, they might notice something very familiar about him. His look is quite familiar, in fact. Almost the perfect mirror of the one she's standing next to.
I kind of thought that's where that was going.
Once more, we return to the Duchess Farah.
All right. Well, are there any more doors in the kitchen, or we just have to?
The kitchen is a dead end.
Okay.
If there are doors, they may exist. They might just be secret. You might have to search around, do some looking.
Well, we seem to have hit a dead end. What do you suggest now?
Suppose, at the very least, you could attempt to ask the chefs. If there's one thing that the good Duke is fond of, it's snacks.
So I guess I will ask the chef if he has seen or heard from the Duke.
Could I have a pedals test from you?
Yes, you can. 2 5s and a 4.
2 5s and a 4. The chef turns to you. Oh, yes, I saw him barely an hour ago. Last I saw, he was walking through the gallery. He's got some kind of, well, don't tell anyone I said this, but he's got some kind of secret passage hidden there.
Nice.
To some kind of fancy room that he likes. I would say start looking behind the paintings.
Can you tell me what he was wearing?
The Duke. His costume today is, shall we say, appropriate to his style. The Duke's costuming is that of a peacock. However, from the outside, you would not notice it. From the outside, it is a formless gray robe. It is simply gray on gray, Perhaps slightly interesting because of the feathering, but nothing particularly interesting. It is, however, when he moves and spreads his arms wide, that the rest of the cloak and the robes flare out, showing the peacock's eyes the iridescent coloration.
Well, thank you
Strange,
very
however,
much.
it has not been seen.
Well, it sounds like we need to go back to the gallery.
That it does. How odd, though, that he's been seen here not an hour ago, and yet completely missing from the rest of the building. Where did he go? Where, in fact, is this secret room? Do you wish to start heading back to the gallery?
Yes.
All right,
Hopefully, we will find out soon.
So you'll be walking back into the dining hall. However, as you walk back in, you hear a scream coming from the dining room down to the south. Meanwhile, Lady Celestine.
I would like to find the sister that looks like a swan.
All right, do you want to try and giving me a roots test again?
Sure.
Try and pick her out of the crowd. If she is here at all. There's no guarantee, after all.
Okay. 2 5s and a 4, so 2 successes.
Looking down into the crowd, you can see that the sister who looks like a swan, you pick out, twirling and whirling, dancing and laughing. She is, I would say, like a couple years younger than the guy you saw. The guy you saw was probably, late 50s, right? She's like in her mid 40s, and having just a wonderful time.
I love that he called a man in his 50s a young man.
Yep.
I'm about to ruin this lady's whole night, so.
Where are you?
She is having just a wonderful time, twirling and whirling and dancing.
I'm just going to go ahead and go up to her. Excuse me. I believe that this belongs to your brother. I found it on the floor of the greenhouse, and pull out the watch to show her.
She pauses and looks at it. My brother, you say? Well, that does look like his. He got it as a gift. I wonder what he would have done with it. The greenhouse, you say?
Yes. I am afraid that I also found your brother. He is in a less than ideal situation.
Again with this. Let's go get that drunkard off his ass. And she hikes up her big dress and just starts walking out.
We should go this way. It's faster. And I'm gonna take her back through the pillar.
Ooh. Wow. How fancy.
Oh, you're about to ruin this girl's night.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, man.
Unfortunately, that's what happens when siblings turn up dead. The party just does not go on. I don't know what to tell you.
She may have killed him for her to get his position.
And if she tries to kill me too, I have a sword. I'm ready.
Meanwhile, the Countess Burrata. You find yourself in the ballroom. It is important to note that you still do recognize that you still have that feeling that there's something important here if you try to search around.
I would like to try and search for that.
Could I get a roots test from you?
Fantastic. 2 6s and a 5.
As you look around, you note that where that man in white was standing, you actually find something. It looks like a flower petal. Something pale and yet tipped with a bluish color. If you had to guess, based on your own acumen and knowledge, it looks almost like an orchid petal. Quite impressive, actually. Though it's much too large for a regular orchid petal. This would be a very exotic orchid indeed. Notably as well, as you look at it, the book being held that you've been holding tight gives off a radiance of cold. You feel that you could turn to a page in here and learn something.
I'm gonna open the book.
Turning in, you find a page titled The Orchid. A creature of... And then the words trail off. They seem incomplete. Not that they aren't
You know what
there.
the monster is.
Not that they aren't there. You can see, for example, there's a kind of... You can see that there are words there, but it is blurred. It is insubstantial. Like a mosaic effect applied to your eyes. However, you do see one section of it that is legible. It notes that the beast's camouflage only works around motion. It needs people and lots of them. It needs the bustling street, the lavish ballroom, the dance. In silence, it cannot hide. You still have one more action. What do you want to do?
I want to follow the guy in white.
The man in white went off to the east. Or west, actually. It's west over this way. Could I have a 3d6?
Please tell me it's
2 4s and a 6.
Oh,
So,
4
14.
and a 6.
I was waiting for another 8. I'm like, yes, another dining room.
You said that's a 14.
Yes.
So
We've
this
had a-
is an interesting case.
Is it another ballroom?
This is another gallery.
Oh, okay.
But 2 4s mean something particular. This gallery is a very specific one. This is not a gallery of... Well, this is not a gallery of sculpture, of statuary. This is a gallery of flowers. Pressed flowers, portraits of flowers, fine vases, painted with enamel flowers, holding themselves the exact same flowers kept at freshness. It is eclectic as it is bizarre. The fact that it is so devoted to this theme that even the tiles upon the floor that you walk are patterned like lilies. Upon entering here, though, you see something on the ground that catches your eye. Another orchid petal of that same size lying upon the floor. In the meanwhile, we move to the Duchess.
Did you hear that?
I did. Sounded like a scream. I wonder who it would be.
Shall we investigate, or shall we continue to look for your father?
I would think they aren't necessarily exclusive, but let's continue. Let's find whoever did this and see at least what's going on.
Okay, so we will move into the gallery.
All right. Moving into the gallery, you find that while the gallery itself is devoid of anything substantial beyond that statue of last time... Oh, wait. There is something different, actually. Where did that statue go?
Is it
It's gone.
gone?
It is completely gone. You had seen it sitting there, and yet it is gone entirely.
Oh my god. It was there the whole time. I almost died. Where wasn't there a statue there?
Yes, there was. The man in white looks to the side. So we may have a thief among us, but who could carry it? It's not like it's small. It's a big stone statue.
I mean,
Something's wrong here.
something is very wrong. You couldn't exactly just make away with it.
Not easily, at any rate.
People would see you.
Especially in the time we've only been gone. We've been gone from this room, what, 15 minutes? Barely
Maybe.
that. Where did it go?
Well, let's see if we can find the origin of the screaming, and then we can figure out where the statue disappeared to.
You move down to the dining room and find the origin of the screaming. In so much as that there is a body on the floor. This looks to be a member of the serving staff who has been just gutted. The large man in the boar mask is trembling fearfully, backed up against the tables. Everyone in the room is fearful and panicking, wondering what happened. None of them have approached the body. The body itself has a large trail of blood, but not the kind of trail that would be from like a dripping thing, so much as it appears the body was thrown into the room. The trail is a skid mark. The body of the servant is it is not a precise kill, not like the other body you found this evening. That was simple, if a bit gratuitous. This looks as if it has been crushed. Bones broken and brutalized before being thrown with enough force to split one of the tables in half.
God. Wow.
As you enter in from the room, the man in the boar mask runs, "You there! You! Did you see where it came from? What threw this? It came from your direction. What's going on here?"
I turn to the. What is his title? Is he also a duke? I mean,
he didn't actually give a title, but he's like the presumptive heir of the Olescu's.
What is the? It's your would it be your grace for a? I'm trying to think of what the correct
noble title is.
Yes.
Given I guess your grace would work, but he's not actually the duke.
He's not the
heir.
duke yet, but
yeah.
Well,
my lord, think sir or my lord or sir would probably work.
Well, my lord, I think we just found something interesting.
He looks at you. If that was not so apt, I would hate it. But you are correct. In the meanwhile, Lady Celestine.
Alrighty, I'm about to ruin this girl's whole night. I'm gonna take her up to the greenhouse, so that takes one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll just sort of lead her over and move the shrubbery.
As you enter the greenhouse, however, something makes you pause. Someone is there by the shrubbery. A woman in a tall purple dress. This kind of ugly, bruised violet color. With a flower-like mask. She doesn't appear to have noticed you yet.
Hello. I assume that you found what I had found.
She tilts her head to you, looking back. Dear. Well then, I suppose that's more. And flicks out a hand as a spike of what looks like thick plant-like fiber launches towards you.
Thank God you have a sword.
Some dice.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm about to ruin this lady's whole night with my sword. What would you like me to roll?
So you don't. So basically, here's how opposed rolling in this game works. Basically, how this works is you'll test what you're actually rolling against So if you'll how do you want to defend with this, right? You can attempt to defend with your thorns, your roots, or your petals versus whatever they're rolling with. And whoever gets the higher numbers of successes deals that much damage to that pool of their opponents.
Okay.
So as you get hurt, you lose dice from whatever pool you're using.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like I probably have to use thorns. I feel
Entirely
like
enough.
petals definitely doesn't make sense here. So I'll use thorns.
All right.
I was very close to being killed too. I was alone with her in the library.
Okay.
I was next to the creepy statue that could have murdered me.
We're just all having like real close brushes with death tonight. It's not feeling great.
So what'd you get?
I got 2 successes and a failure.
So it's 2 successes versus 2 successes. You
Okay.
dodge out of the way, perfectly parrying aside the vine.
Thank goodness.
And you do still have an action here.
Oh wait, I didn't roll enough dice. Or yes, I did. Yes, I did. I can count. I swear.
Counting is hard. It's fine.
I still have an action. So can I swing my sword at her?
Yes. So you want to attack her?
Yes.
All right. Give me a roll on your thorns.
Stab her. Stab her real hard.
I mean, like if somebody's gonna try to take me out, the appropriate response is to take her back out. I got 2 successes
All right.
and a failure.
So that is one damage to her. She only got 1 success that time.
Yes.
How do you want to describe your attack? What do you do?
I think as I dodge out of the way of her attack of me, I take note of what I saw in the ballroom of this girl that's dressed as a swan who was like spinning around and like having the time of her life. So I just do a full rotation with my sword outstretched.
The pirouette twirl, but with the sword.
But with a sword. She's stabby but graceful about it.
It was beautiful. Tens all across the board.
The blade cut through 3 of the fingers on her outstretched hand that are the ones that threw out the blade. She raises the hand back, shockingly calm for now missing 3 fingers, and turns fully to you. You note at this point that her mask and her dress, they might look like a mask and a dress, but the more you look at it under the moonlight, the more you look at it here in the garden, you realize they're not. They're simply a facsimile of it.
Yeah.
They are her. Her mask is not her mask, it's a crest, horns, perhaps. Her dress is hide, albeit strange plant-like. She flexes the missing fingers on her hand, and then you see them start to grow back, slowly but surely. Well, I see you'll be a bit more interesting to deal with. Meanwhile, with the Countess Barata.
This is so cool, but I'm totally gonna die.
I know. I'm just like, oh god.
I think this is the most actually horror game of this has ever been. It's kind of wild.
It's awesome.
Love it.
No joke. The last 2 times we ran this, the first time was a complete joke where everyone named their characters after food, and we had Beef Wellington, and he nearly died in a single hit, and it was an adventure. And then the second time was like, naked if we had someone who was naked yodeling and lit the building on fire. This is kind of wild. So
So
the
many
Countess
different ways
Barata.
you can play. All
The
right.
Countess Barata. You see that orchid petal on the floor of the gallery. And in itself, you also feel that same kind of feeling. Something in this room is important. Something will tell you more that you need to know.
I'm going to go ahead and investigate again with a roots check.
Mm-hmm.
3, 3, 2.
Oh no.
As you look around, you notice that the room, this gallery is relatively empty. It's not particularly present there. But as you do look around, you notice that there are many flowers in here, but no orchids. There should be orchids, in fact. You can see clearly there are spaces with missing paintings, missing statues, missing works. That clearly would be a position where orchids would be. but they're gone. Someone has removed them. And that said, as you wait in here, you almost don't notice when someone steps up behind you. Excuse me, ma'am. It is the man in white, the one you couldn't see. Or the one that you could see, but everyone else seemed to not. Could I ask what you're doing here? I'm afraid this part of the building's off limits.
Oh, I'm sorry. I love flowers. And I was just so intrigued, so I had to come in.
Could I have an opposed... This is going to be an opposed roots roll.
Come on. No whammies. All whammies.
Well, it's okay. You got all whammies too.
Well done, everyone.
You can see him kind of looking as like... It's that kind of face of... There was clearly something that was supposed to be happening here, but it's not. It's very clearly not, and in fact, he's very confused as the fact that it is, that it isn't. As such, you just kind of sit there. You still have an action left.
I think I'm gonna try and flirt with him and just see if that gets me anywhere.
Could I have a petals roll from you?
Come on. A 5 and a 6.
Nice. Very nice.
You actually do, in fact. So you find this thing, this clearly monstrous thing. As like in this room, you're looking at it, like you can see that the glamour of the man in white is slowly fading just a bit. It's stretching a little at the seams. It's not quite there. And then you flirt with him. You see this thing that is clearly something bent on your destruction. And you give it the little finger guns and a wink. And it cannot process that. It just has no idea what to do. It is sitting there just going, what?
Flirting with the monster is on brand with me, so...
Look, sometimes you catch a winner that way.
Absolutely.
You can see that at this point, it's like its disguise of seeming to be a person is completely dropped, and it's just sitting there going like, I'm what? So
I'm just attracted to danger.
This is an important thing to note here. So monsters have health pools similar to people. They have a 3-stat pool. The orchid has 1 petals. The orchid is here to murder and here to brains and nothing else. And you hit it right in the weakest spot. You have slain one of the monsters.
We can kill them by flirting.
You can kill them.
I killed him by flirting.
In so much as you have completely negated his actual ability to do any more damage for the rest of the night, and do really anything besides just kind of sit there, or probably whatever you tell him to, because let's be honest, he doesn't know how to socialize anyway.
I'm gonna link my arm with his, and he's gonna be my companion.
Well, you just nailed yourself a date. I think that is a perfect place for us to take a quick little break. As it has been a bit of an hour since our last one. Oh, this is... Now things are returning more to form.
This is awesome.
I've never
So, back to the Duchess Vera.
So I'm going to turn to my compatriot for the evening and go, well, you seem to have lost some of your help.
Yes, I can see that. Oh my, well, Do we have gods? We should have gods. Where are the gods?
I mean, at this point, I think we're a little bit beyond gods.
Gotta do something. Wait a minute. And like he like snaps his fingers. The dining room. Everyone! In the dining room to the north, we have weapons. We will hunt down whoever did this and slay it. Who's with me? The dining room, who have been at this point, like, you know, this is 1 a.m. at a masquerade ball. They are like many drinks in, and also somewhat scared, but many drinks in. They hear someone talking confidently about going off to fight some big monster. They don't even comprehend half the words at this point, but they go, "Yeah! Quickly, follow me!"
I am going to make my way. I'm going to tell him, while you do that, I'm going to continue the search for your father.
My thanks, honestly.
Well,
May our paths meet again.
you can pay me back later. And so I'm going to make my way back to the gallery.
All right. You make your way into the gallery. As you enter the gallery, there is the sound of something creaking just at the edge of your hearing. Could I have a roots roll from you?
1 success, 2 failures.
All right. Just at the edge, you can see that around one of the corners of the statuary, something is moving. And then it stops. And you peek just far enough ahead to see that that statue is back, but not in the place you saw it last. No, it's up at the wall on one of the far walls of the gallery, frozen in place. And then you see it move. It twists, just a little, with the sound of old creaking oak. The head, which is a barely featured, somewhat mangled-looking thing, ticks and turns slowly towards you. There's a moment, frozen, where the two of you simply stare at each other. It with its eyeless gaze, and you, well, you as you.
We meet again.
And then the creaking sound comes back, and its limbless body begins to move as from the ground around it you see pieces of tile dislodge as roots flow up into it, streaking across the floor as it rushes towards you.
Great.
It has not gotten into range to attack you yet. You have an action here. You can attempt to run into another room to do something else to attempt and preempt it, but it's running. It's crawling towards you on all fours, blindingly fast.
I'm going to immediately run back to the dining room because obviously if they were going to get the weapons, they would have gone through the gallery, so they have not left yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to immediately rush back into the dining room and say, well, our paths have crossed again. The statue is back, but the statue is not a statue. It is a monster.
The man looks, I'm sorry, what? And then the statue bursts through the door of the dining room, sending it flying in the other direction, picks it and lashes out an arm into the waiting crowd, just pulping the person it grabs. We're just talking like the passerby is grabbed, flung backwards through the wall, and then ceases to be a person and starts to be, a condiment thrown into a paintball gun. The featureless face of the statue lets out a low creaking sound as its, sculpted mouth snaps open like jagged broken wood. Meanwhile, Lady Celestine.
All right. I am going to take another. I'm going to take another shot. And first, I'll say, for someone who can shoot things out of their hands, you don't seem to be holding up very well to just a sword. And then I'll swing again.
All right. Give
So I'll
me
use
another roll.
Okay. I got a 5, a 6, and a 4, so that's 2 successes.
Nice.
My luck will run out at some point, but not yet.
You do one more damage. So you do slice forward again, cutting into it, and you see like its blood splatter across the blade. You chop through one of its arms.
Sweet.
While that may be true, that would only apply if I fought fair. It would be at this point you notice something. Its blood is evaporating. A thick, choking purple cloud seeping out from the wounds. You are now affected by the power of the poppy.
Oh no.
Daggone it, I was trying to figure out what it was, and I thought it was a snapdragon. I thought it was a snapdragon! Crap. Okay. This is great.
Upon coming into contact with something infused by the poppy, which now is your own weapon, you'll suffer a -1 to the results of all dice rolls for the next 2 turns.
Oh no.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you feel yourself woozy, sick, off balance, and unsettled. You still have an action, but it's like you're reeling slightly.
Okay, so
There it is.
So every dice I roll, I just subtract 1 from it to see.
It's on successes, so it's instead of subtracting 1 from every dice roll, it's like you need 2 successes to have 1 success.
Okay, got it. Even if you don't fight fair, that doesn't mean I still can't fight back. And I'm gonna try to swing again. I'm just afraid it's not gonna work this time, but we're gonna try anyway. Okay, thank goodness. Okay, so I get 1 success because I got 2. I got 2 5s and a 2.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I think that'll do
Instead
much,
of attempting to match your blade, simply attempts to step to the side, and does only just barely. You cut into the seam of its dress.
Okay.
Still that fast, even with that weakness. A pity. Well then, let's see what we can do. Meanwhile, Countess Baraka, you have acquired monstrous arm candy.
I'm absolutely walking back into the ballroom.
As you do, you strut back into the ballroom with your confused, somewhat unsettling looking, but it's a masquerade ball, and no one's probably going to notice. Hopefully, maybe. New bow on one arm. What's your plan?
I want to see who's getting the most attention in the room.
In the room at this point, the owner of the most attention would be... Wait a moment. Is that who you think it is? Stepping out from one of the pillars, a different pillar than the one connecting to the southern ballroom, a man walks stately into the room in a strange, drab, almost dull gray robe. Except when he spreads it wide and you see the iridescence of peacock feathers spread out in every direction. Greetings, everyone! Welcome to my manor, and welcome to my party. The fun has arrived. Gentlemen! And he snaps his fingers at the band. Let's do something with a little bit of soul. The band starts up a bit more vibrantly. And the Duke has clearly captivated the audience with his ostentatious approach and jazzy band's backing track.
I'm going to stride towards him. Hello, I'm Count Esperata. Thank you so much for the invitation to your ball tonight.
Could I have a petals test from you, please?
A 3 and a 6.
Count Esperata. A pleasure to meet yours. I'm certain you already know my name. Well, everyone does. And who is this delightful young man on your arm? Looking a bit peaky there. You can see he's just kind of like.
Oh, don't mind him. He's just the monstrous arm candy.
I see. Fine
I like
taste.
to make an entrance.
Don't we all? In fact, I have something a bit planned for a bit in the future that I might want to enlist your help on. You see, with any proper masquerade, there must be something of a real showstopper, and I could enlist your help for a very particular big entrance. What say you?
I say I'm very interested.
Excellent. Could I have a petals roll from you?
Two 1s.
For a second there, something sounds kind of off about what he's about his speech, but it's fine. It seems fine. Don't worry about it. Now, go and mingle. If you'd like to take me up on my offer, meet me in the library in, let's call it 15 minutes time, something like that.
Will do.
You still have one action left. What you gonna do? Any ideas on what you're gonna do? You still have that action.
Oh, me?
Yes.
Oh, crap. I thought that was more than one action.
Nope.
I'm gonna walk back into the library then with my monstrous icon.
Oh, actually, no, you were right. You did. That was actually yeah, because you walked into the room.
Okay. Yeah, because I walked into one room.
That's my bad. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
All right. Now, the Duchess Vera. You are currently in this room. There is a gigantic monstrosity.
Yes.
Who has just pulped someone into a wall. The man in the boar mask lets out a terrified, very high-pitched scream and proceeds to throw a chair at it, which just kind of bonks into its head and does nothing.
My first action is going to be to grab the sharpest knife on the table that I see.
All right.
And then I'm going to try and snark my way to fight this thing.
What do you mean by that?
I'm going to look it dead in the eye and say,
In
darling,
the eyes or lack thereof.
or lack thereof, and say, darling, that is not the way to make an entrance. I'm trying to use my petals.
Okay, so you're wanting to
Yes.
to basically you want to socially shame this monster.
Yes.
That is something you can attempt.
Okay. So I throw that snarky comment as an attack.
Yeah, basically you are attempting to socially shame it.
Okay.
In doing so, roll me 2d or roll me your petals.
Okay. I hope I have the right monster because I'm really hoping I can stop it with this one roll. Ooh, I got 2 6s and a 3.
It pauses a little bit, seemingly confused and somewhat bewildered by your statement. but it wasn't enough. The creature seems to, like, for a moment, like, and then it lashes out,
Yep.
surging forward to bite at you.
Oh,
Yeah, I knew that's what it was. Okay.
All right, how are you going to defend?
Okay, so it's biting at me. It hasn't
Mhm.
bit me.
So it's attacking you.
It's
Its
attacking.
actual ability to bite you is contingent on your defensive roll.
Okay.
Whatever your defensive pool you want to use is.
I am then going to continue to try and be snarky.
You're trying to socially defeat it. Well, this could come in many ways. This could be attempting to socially dance around it. This could be basically talking someone into taking the hit for you, like just going like just talking to like you quickly, and then and just throwing someone in front of it. Like you could just get someone. It's being social as a weapon.
Am I
Remember,
able to move while I talk?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So I'm going to try to not necessarily dodge, but just kind of sway my way out of its path.
To bewilder and confuse and buffer it down just enough.
Yeah, and throw a, well, this is no way to behave at a party. Do I just do a petals roll?
That's just the petals.
Okay. Just so you know, this is how I fight in real life. I got a 5, a 6, and a 2. So 2 successes and 1 failure.
So you do manage to actually not instantly die. You are still taking 1 damage.
Oh, damn.
Yes, which is going to your root, to your thorns. So you have lost 1 thorns. As it,
Please don't.
You bewilder it, you baffle it, you manage to get it away just enough, but not enough before one of its swipes snaps into your arm, biting into your dress. As it does, however, you note that the arm feels heavy, as wood begins to grow and loop out of it. A great heavy weight now grabs onto you. You cannot move unless you make a thorns check to break free.
I knew that's what it was.
Oh no.
Meanwhile, that was your first action, actually, because you used the one, and then you. Okay, no. So in that case, we go to Lady Celestine.
All right. Okay. So now that I know that it's a poppy, I should be able to kill it if all goes well.
And you have injured it.
Yes, twice.
Mm-hmm.
So again, if I can do well on a thorns roll, I think it'll go down. Okay. I'm gonna swing my sword right at its face. It's go time. I'm real mad about it.
Give it a stab.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. Does my thing still apply? It does, right?
It does. Or
Okay.
the minus. Yeah, so you have the -1 thing going on because it's for 2 turns.
Okay. So I get 1 success then. Because I got
right.
2 5s and a 2 again.
Yep. So it swings in at it, like you swing in at it, and it just dodges just a little bit to the side, tilting itself just enough. You're cutting closer than it clearly looks like it would like.
Yeah.
It got 1 success. They cancel out.
Okay. No, that's fair.
And you still fight. Tell me, what is the point of this struggle? What is the point of this? No food for the garden anyway. Why would you prolong before you could become it?
The thing you don't seem to understand is that things still tend to fight, and you may have affected my weapon, but that does not mean you can affect me.
It's like looking at you swaying kind of on your feet.
I like literally look like I'm drunk while I'm saying this, but I fully believe I can still do it. The fake confidence will get you everywhere. And I'm gonna swing again just because all I know how to do at this point is
all you know is fight. You woke up and chose violence.
I woke up and chose violence today, straight up.
Do it. Choose that violence.
Okay. That's 2 successes again, but it'll still cancel out to 1.
Ooh. Oh no. Oh no.
I don't like that. We didn't need to say that.
So it twists to the side, dodging you again, and simply just kicks the little end of your sword, tripping you over and down.
Cool.
Clearly I can't affect you. Clearly. After all, that's not what have I been doing here for the last little while? Punching at air? Of course I haven't. You are as weak and fallible and mortal as the rest. You're taking 2 damage to your roots.
To roots? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's super unfortunate, but alright.
It would be at this point, however, where your erstwhile companion, the lady in the swan dress, charges at it with a gardening shear.
Sweet!
She's doing
Get
like
it, girl, let's go!
She charges it with the gardening shear and misses horribly because she is in heels and it's not easy and this thing can move, but
you tried your best.
Fighting in heels is really hard.
Getting you a little bit of range. Back, I say, she says as she points the shears at it. Then notices the corpse of her brother, which is partially being devoured by vines coming out of the soil. And then she screams again.
That's fair enough.
She's seen a monster and her dead brother. It's been a night.
Yeah.
At least she enjoyed the dancing while it lasted.
Like I said, I came here to ruin this lady's evening. There you go.
This lady is going to have a very bad evening.
Yeah.
If she makes it out.
You do still have an action.
Oh, I do?
Yes.
I thought I attacked twice. I did.
Oh, no, you did.
Yeah. I only got 1 success both times.
Yep.
Unfortunate.
All right. Now we return to the Countess Dorata. We're
going into the library to meet up
That's the library.
with my monsters.
While you go to accomplish your agendas, we're just gonna fight some
monsters.
Hey, you get points for fighting monsters.
Okay, good.
You do.
Okay, good.
Yes.
I got that going for me.
The scoring things to remember. Also, important thing to remember: your mask. There's a mechanic you may have forgotten about. You can remove your mask voluntarily at any time. What that does is that it is your line of defense. Not your mask, your title. Your mask protects your title. But you can invoke your title to add an extra die to a roll, but you take an extra damage when you take damage, because it's actually affecting you directly, not just you, the person behind the mask.
Okay.
So if you're really in the trouble and you really need that extra dice, you can invoke your proper title, as all good nobility does. Now, you walk in to the library, and inside you find yourself shortly followed after by the Count Orlescu. Well, you see, the thing I want to do is that tonight, in addition to being a proper masquerade ball, is intended to be a bit of a debut for one of my granddaughters, you see. And I have of the mind that you may be able to help me with that.
This is gonna go so bad. Okay.
Allow me to invite her in. And he like gives a bow and walks in. And a woman in a red dress walks through one of the doors. It is wildly impressive in that the dress is like this multi layers and layers of brilliant red silk, floofed up. Except for there's one thing that you notice. The first thing you notice is that her mask is built into a hat. It's like a little domino mask, and a wide-brimmed hat covered in roses. The second is that the book on your side grows cold the moment she enters the room.
Of course. This book was the best thing I could ever find.
Yep. Hello there, dear.